Welcome to In Touch Crime Beat. I'm Officer Don with Fayette Commonwealth's Attorney Ray Larson. What we got cooking this week, Ray?
Well, I keep hearing from people who watch this Trent DiGiuro murder program they did on, I guess it's called the Discovery ID channel, whatever that is.
Called what, Sins and Secrets. They came down and profiled that investigation.
What did you think about it? I mean, because a lot of people saw it, and you're kind of a showbiz guru. What did you think about it?
Well, you know, of course, when we got the call from Discovery Channel asking us to do this, you did the same thing I did. And I said, no. We both did.
Why did you say no?
Well, one reason is I guess for me, yeah, I'm a showbiz guru. They always tease me about wanting to get attention. Well, that's my business. I'm in the radio business, so yeah, I want to get attention. Look at me, listen to me.
Yeah.
But I have a problem with getting attention on the backs of a victim, and in this, I don't want that kind of attention. And that's how I always look at it. Is I'm not going to use that Trent DiGiuro's murder to try to show off, and that's just how I feel, and you feel the same way. But what changes things is when the family calls you and says, "Listen, they're doing this show." And it's important to us that Trent's story is not forgotten, and we would like for you to do it. So, of course, when the DiGiuros said, yes, we're cooperating and we'd like for you to do it too, that changes everything. And then it's like, okay, well, then we're going to do that. So that's how I felt. As far as how they presented the show, they did okay. I guess I didn't like the part, they made it look like Lexington is a place that we all just booze it up because they kept talking about bourbon and fast horses and faster women, I think he said at one point. I didn't like that part, making us look more like a party town than we really are. But other than that, it seemed to be pretty accurate. And they didn't really slam Lexington, but you're always sensitive about your hometown.
One of the things that concerns me, I'm very reluctant to deal with the national media.
You've said this before. That's advice that you've given me before when it comes to this. To explain that.
Well, in the past, I just don't return calls to this national. Whenever Discovery or 48 Hours or 20 Minutes or whatever they are want to call, I just say, mm-hmm.
Why? Have you had a bad experience?
No, I haven't. But here's what I know about those groups. Because I finally, one night, I just answered the phone at the office, and it was some guy from one of those channels or one of those shows, and he said, "You don't answer the call. I've tried to call you." And I said, "Well, you're right." And I said, "I just have no interest in being on a national show." And he said, "Why not?" And I said, "You guys typically have got your story written. And people like me are just prompts. Mm-hmm. And you come in and talk to me, and you can do anything you want with me, mm-hmm. or Don Evans or anybody else as part of that show. And you can trash us, you can do anything you want. And there's no repercussions for you, just for me. You leave town never to come back again." And I said, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, you told me what you said. The local media, it's a little different because those people live here, and if they mess you over in a story,
they got to deal with me.
Yeah,
see? Yeah.
The next time they want to talk to you, you're not going to talk to them.
Well,
and that
you'll talk to them, but you keep them at arm's length, mm-hmm. and so that's the reason I didn't do it. And it wasn't until I talked to Mike DiGiuro, and he said same thing me said to you, that I said okay. Now I apparently am not as much of a success story on those shows because one of the things they did is they brought in this woman who's a captioned lawyer or attorney, and I looked at this thing that was behind her, and it says Knoxville Bar Association.
Yeah. What Ray's talking about is they come in. Of course, the Discovery Channel, they're the ones that are having the show produced, but they sub it out to a production company. In this particular case, it was Knoxville. So these people from Knoxville come up here, and they basically do they have all the questions that the producer provides for them, because I believe the Discovery Channel's out of Canada, or at least this is where this idea originated out of. And then, so the people that come, the film crew, all they do is they have the list of questions. The guy asks you the questions off camera, and then you answer the questions. And you may be interviewed for 3 hours, which I think I was with them at least a couple of hours. But then when it comes showtime, they're going to edit it down and show literally maybe 2 minutes of the whole interview. And they don't even show the whole 2 minutes. It's in little sound bites. Well, I did notice in one situation they had where they wanted to fill in the gaps. They had some staged attorney that I don't know who this girl is, that I guess answered the questions exactly like they wanted. So they would.
Well, they must have had a script for her.
Yeah, they would give her a script, and she would fill in the gaps where Ray or I didn't. They didn't have a staged cop though. That was the only cop.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't have to have my problem. That makes you bigger because you had an extra. She was sort of like your extra.
Doesn't make me bitter.
You know, bring in the hair, right?
Well, that was it. Because or bring in the tall one.
Bring in the tall one.
So it's but it was all in all it was close.
Yeah, it was close.
And it was
you can't tell a story of an investigation that took 6 years to develop in a trial that took a couple of weeks to present in 42 minutes is what they had. So given that, they did a pretty good job. And the main thing, what I was liked about it, is they didn't feel like they needed to go into the defense side of things a whole lot. They told the story of this killer, and they did explain who Trent was and that he was a victim here, and there wasn't a whole lot of sympathy. So that's what we look for, and that's another reason that I am generally not compelled to get involved in these kind of things, because you don't know how they're going.
You don't know where they're going, how they're going to do it.
But they assured me that that's not what they were going to do, and they didn't. So it's Sins and Secrets. I don't know if you can still get it or not, but you could go to Discovery.
Well, if you go to LexingtonProsecutor.com, which is our webpage, you'll be able to click on it because we've gotten it and we put it on our webpage.
Is that legal?
So, well, we called them.
Okay.
We called them and they said they can't. The people that produced it, they can't give permission, but they gave us some web pages where it was.
Okay.
And so we've connected.
So make sure
to
that you weren't pirating this thing.
No. Not that I wouldn't. I mean, but if we're going to talk about it, I'm going to make sure I've done it right.
Exactly.
This past week, the aftermath of that Donald Southworth trial continues. This Umi Southworth was an Indonesian woman, and we have gotten to know just lots and lots of people from the Indonesian community, and they were so interested in this trial, and we ended up getting a beautiful flower arrangement from the entire Indonesian community, which we appreciated. Typically, in our office, we don't accept. A lot of times people will send us things after a trial and in appreciation, and if it's flowers, you got to keep them, or they're gonna, So
But
we keep those, but the
gifts.
rest of it we send back and say thank you, but we just can't.
Well, your tax dollars pay for that. You don't have to tip the prosecutor, right?
Well, that's right. That's right. However,
tune in to the following stations every Sunday to hear full episodes of In Touch with Ray the DA and Don Evans.